You're watching the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. Coming up, an Oronoco, Missouri man pleads guilty to kidnapping a Webb City woman.
One batch of showers and thunderstorms out of here, and some scattered showers and thunderstorms persisting, but we're going to warm up again. We'll break it all down in the Skywatch Weather Center.
And how exercise benefits those with chronic kidney disease. All that and more coming up. Thanks for joining us for the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. I'm Tanya Bach. The Joplin Police Major Crash Team investigates an accident involving a Newton County Sheriff's deputy. KOAM broke this story yesterday. Authorities say the deputy's SUV collided with a motorized bicycle, sending its rider to the hospital in serious condition. The crash happened shortly after 2 a.m. on Thursday near East 32nd and South Finley Streets in Joplin. The officer on the scene says both the Newton County Tahoe and the motorized bike were traveling east. An Oronoco, Missouri man pleads guilty for the kidnapping of a Webb City, Missouri woman. Authorities say Jeffrey Marsh kidnapped the woman and threatened to kill her and her family unless she recanted her testimony in his state criminal case. The woman had previously told police that Marsh had stolen her gun. Marsh pled guilty to conspiracy to committing kidnapping, being a felon in possession of a firearm, and stalking. In July of last year, co-defendant Zachary Archer pled guilty for his role in the kidnapping conspiracy and firearm possession. You can find more information on this case on our website at KOAMnewsnow.com. Joplin police say they're seeing reports of counterfeit money as more fake bills circulate in the community. Local businesses are more vigilant. But it's not just local businesses that need to be aware. Counterfeit money has also been reported at yard sales.
Anytime you're going to be dealing in a cash business or the sale of anything, purchase of anything in cash, it's a good idea to be aware of the possibility of counterfeit and take the steps to train yourself and make yourself aware of the things you can look for to protect yourself.
If you come across counterfeit money, report it to the police department immediately. On Thursday, Missouri Governor Mike Parson visited Southwest Missouri to honor veterans. Trip is a part of a month-long tour across the state to discuss legislation, promote opportunities for Missourians, and to learn where state governments can do better. This week focuses on public safety and veterans, so he paid a visit to Mount Vernon Veterans Home.
Whether you're a veteran or not, we all should take care of them, because I mean, for 246 years we've had people fighting for us through all kinds of conflicts in our histories, and it's our time now to be able to take care of them, and we've always managed to try to do that over the years.
Next, he'll then visit Ozark Technical Community College in Springfield to highlight public safety actions and continued needs. Animals and art collide in California. A pot-bellied pig there produced an award-winning art. Adrienne Moore has the story.
I already love your work. It's beautiful.
This pot-bellied Picasso is proof that cloven hooves carry a lot of creativity.
The first series that she did was her blue period. So that's kind of where the Picasso came from. Then she does a really pretty kind of pinkish red. So that's kind of her Georgia O'Keeffe phase, if you will.
2-year-old Charlotte is the animal artist behind nearly a dozen abstract pieces.
This is 100% unique, original Charlotte art.
Using kid-friendly, non-toxic paints, her owner, Jenny Manueli, sprinkles Cheerios and granola around the canvas and then lets the nearly 300-pounder go to work.
She's got unique style, and each one is so different, but it's just fun. It's super fun to see her create something and see the results.
And those results don't stink. Charlotte's work recently scored some big recognition, earning her blue ribbons for first place at both the Motherlode and Calaveras County fairs.
It brought tears to my eyes just because the point's getting across, the message is getting across. This is for fun. This is for smiles. This is for inspiration.
A first-of-its-kind win for a four-legged contestant with skills so popular, she now has her own Instagram, or in this case, Instaham account.
I know what she's brought into my life. If I can share that with people, that's what it's about.
Well, cats are known to be finicky eaters, and apparently penguins are too. Hey, we're going to the animals today. Animals at a Japanese aquarium are being fed cheaper fish These guys are not happy about it. Japan's Konan Aquarium is about an hour from Tokyo and home to about 32,000 animals. The struggling economy there has led to the aquarium doing what it can to cut costs. The penguins and the otters typically eat fish called aji, but according to the aquarium, the price of aji has spiked 30% in the last year, so the aquarium switched to a cheaper alternative, saba or mackerel. However, as you can tell by these guys' reaction, it looks like they're eating it to me. The mackerel have not been well received. The aquarium says it is accommodating the penguins and the otters by mixing the mackerel with aji, and they are, quote, tolerating it.
Those penguins did not look pleased about, I mean, did you see that one? Like, she tried to feed him the fish, and he's just like, nah, I'm not having it. That's like my kids.
I like how otters. Well, you want to keep your otters happy.
All right, hold
Let's
on,
just
hold
say
on.
that.
She's going to feed him the fish. Oh, wait.
We keep going to
maybe
this shot of this turtle swimming by, too.
Oh, there he is.
Yep.
Hi, turtle.
Hello there.
He goes.
He's
Okay,
looking,
and there's the seal, so hold on.
waving at the people. There's
Hold
the
up.
food.
Okay, there's the fish they're feeding him. Now watch this penguin. There it is. See, he's like, I'm not having it. Not having it.
It's like, no.
You know what we are having?
Hot weather.
Yes, you got it. That's exactly
You know what? The penguins probably wouldn't like that either.
No, they would absolutely not like the hot weather whatsoever. And I know that none of us around the 4 states have. We had some showers and thunderstorms earlier. They pushed out. Now we've got some little showers and thunderstorms. Let's go down here and we're going to take a little closer look. Some lightning. This storm just on the southeast side of Neosho. Nothing severe, nothing crazy. And some showers up north around Columbus. Those are going to be kicking their way out of here and give way to this. Another excessive heat warning, an extension thereof until 9 o'clock tonight for most of us. Some of us in southeast Kansas are going to go until 8 o'clock. It's going to be hot. So there's the sun rising. Here's the storm down by Neosho as it's moving on out. The skies are clearing, and as they do so, it's going to get hotter. 83, 85 is what it feels like across the area. That's what we're all looking at right now. Upper 70s, most of us getting into the lower 80s as the morning progresses. We already have dew points out there that are getting into that sticky to muggy range. Some of us starting to push soupy. And you take that into account, we're getting those heat index values into the lower 80s, and they're only going to go up. And that's why we have the excessive heat warning. Because temperatures today under sunny skies, once those storms clear out, are going to heat into the upper 90s with heat index values pushing 105. And then a cold front's going to make its way through. So as it does, temperatures drop off slowly until we start the day tomorrow when we start at 74 degrees. So let's take a look at that 7-day forecast, why don't we? One more alert day today because of the excessive heat. 92. That doesn't seem like a big drop, but with lower humidity, it's going to be pretty decent. And then it's going to warm back up. The humidity will build, and as it does, we're going to have some isolated storm chances throughout next week. Chef Anthony is coming up in the kitchen with not only a roasted chicken, but a strawberry citrus bourbon barbecue glaze. Say that 3 times fast. You don't want to miss it. And later, how sewage testing can help detect COVID outbreaks sooner. You're watching KOAM Morning News on Fox 14.
Welcome back. We've got Chef Anthony in the studio this morning, and we've made a spatchcocked chicken. This is a technique that I've never done before, and I was so excited to learn about it, and I can't wait to try it on my own at home. If you want to learn how to spatchcock a chicken, make sure you tune into our website later this morning, KOAMnewsnow.com, and you lay it out, complete details. But
yes.
Brief us on why you chose to use that technique.
Well, before we do that, let's glaze the chicken.
Ooh, okay.
So we're going to pull this out and let everybody kind of see it.
Look how crispy that skin is. That's good.
And we're going to glaze.
So this glaze that you made is, it's got produce actually from Martinez
Produce. And it has a bourbon from our friends at Parrot Head here in Pittsburgh. And it is a strawberry citrus bourbon glazed barbecue sauce.
Okay.
So it has a little heat to it. It has a little earthiness, and it has a little sweetness from the citrus and a little twang. And let's not forget the most important elements to it is the heat.
Okay.
So
you've already, before you put the chicken in there in your roaster, you put a lot of seasoning on it.
Yes.
Itself first.
Put a lot of seasoning on it so that it'll get going. Now, to finish this glaze, it's only going to take a couple of minutes for that glaze to set up inside there. So what we've done is we took the chicken, we rolled it over onto its stomach, and we cut the spine out of it. And then when you cut the spine out of it, lay it back over, push hard, firmly down on the breast, and it will flatten out for you. And we've added a lot of butter.
And you didn't just set the butter on the top. Part of it was you separated the skin and the meat and inserted the butter on, like, all the way down into it.
Yes, exactly. Run your finger around the inside of it so you get all the way around, all the way down into all the little nooks and crannies. And then you'll put a piece of butter over the leg, a piece of butter over the thigh, 2 pieces on the breast, on both sides, and then it'll be all done. So, but the beauty of this is, what's your favorite cut of the chicken?
I'm a leg girl.
Your leg girl? So,
And the reason why is because I don't like dry white meat. And so I'm excited to try the breast because a lot of chicken breasts tend to be really, really dry. So this technique of spatchcocking helps prevent that.
you're going to love this.
Oh, I'm excited. Oh, wow. Okay, as you pulled that apart, I could just see it juicing. And this particular bird has been done for...
This bird has been done for, since our last segment. It finished during our last segment. So.
Yeah, so, I mean, it's not one that you pull directly out, so it's been sitting getting air and stuff too. And
it's cooled a little bit. The skin is still crispy.
Still moist though too.
It's still very moist. Isn't that great?
Wow.
And it's super easy to do. And for when you have the family around and you have one that likes the legs, one that likes the thighs, one that likes the breast, it's really easy to set it out like this and cut the pieces right off of it. Because you haven't even had the best part yet. You said you're a leg girl.
I am a leg girl.
Try that leg.
Okay. I'm gonna dig in.
We have lots for you to try this morning, so.
Can you kind of give us a little tale of how you made that?
Well, I make my barbecue sauces from scratch. Well, this is actually more of a glaze. It's a little thinner than barbecue sauce, but I start with tomatoes and I have a recipe that I make my own ketchup with. And then from there, I add drippings of whatever meat I'm going to use with it. And I add my spices and I grind everything from a dry point. So habaneros and serranos, I grind them dry. The only thing that I added fresh was my lemon juice and the lemon juice, orange juice, and lime juice to get the citrus in it.
That's so good.
And even the strawberries, I dried the strawberries in this so that I could grind them up and put them in there and get a nice pure sweetness from them. I didn't want to overdo it.
Now this particular chicken does not have the glaze on it, correct?
This one does not have the glaze on it. But this one,
piece on here. Sorry about that. So good.
does.
So good. Wow. That looks great. Oh, and okay, so in your roaster here, you cooked it at 450.
450 for 45 minutes.
If you were going to cook it in the oven?
450 for an hour.
For an hour.
Now, the beauty of this one is that this is a convection fryer. You can pick these up at most retailers for about $250. This particular one is the Ninja 9-in-1. It is absolutely wonderful. It'll air fry, it'll dehydrate, it'll whole roast, it'll do the little Tostino pizzas that everybody loves. It'll do all of it inside of here. So this is very versatile and easy to use and worth every penny of it. And it's one of the safest ones on the market.
Okay, as we dig into this one, let's go ahead and go to commercial break and then we'll come back and I probably should have waited to pull it out till you came back, but we're out of time here. I need to wait till we come back.
Oh, we can do that.
Maybe I'll eat as we go to break. You'll never know. We'll be right back. All right, today Tanya has learned something new when it comes to cooking chickens, how to spatchcock a chicken, and this technique truly made it super moist when it came out. Yeah.
The butter really just does nothing but cook right down into the meat, so you don't have to worry about it. You can use a little oil or water to go across the top of it to help with your skin, just depending upon where you're looking to go. It'll also help hold your seasonings on just a little bit, but a few drops, rub it into the skin, then season. You just want it on there just to hold the seasonings in place.
So we talked about cooking it in the air roaster, cooking it in the oven. How long would you want to cook it if you want to cook it on a grill? Like
On a
this?
grill, it's really hard to tell on a grill. As long as you cook it to 165 degrees, actually, when you do it like this, I always tell everybody, go to 170, because when you do it whole, 170, 175, you never know if you hit the bone. You always want to make sure you're just a little over temperature. And if you do it like this.
When you're checking the temperature like that, where are the best places to?
I always check the temperature inside the leg, and I always come from the bottom of the leg. So I hit up into the meat of the leg, and then I come in on the thigh the same way from the same side.
Okay.
And I check my temperature.
Yeah, because you're getting different temperature readings in the leg and the thigh.
Correct, because there's different densities in your meat. And then on the breast, I do it twice. Once from the bottom, and then once from the top. And check both sides.
And you said 160 is the magic number?
165 is the magic number to make sure that poultry is done. But if you go just a little higher, 170, 175, then you know you're well into the clear. So you don't have too much to stress out about it.
Okay.
So, and as you notice on here, the glaze that's on this chicken is absolutely beautiful. Strawberries, oranges, lemons, limes. It has some habanero. It has some serrano peppers in it. It has some bourbon from Parrot Head inside
what kind of
of it.
bourbon did you decide
Knob
to use?
Creek.
Knob Creek? Okay.
Because it adds a nice little earthiness.
And you've talked to me before, when you're cooking with liquor, it's best to pick something that you would want to drink yourself.
Correct, because your palate will recognize it. And a lot of times people are like, well, I have cooking wine. That cooking wine is the very bottom of the barrel, the stuff they don't want to bottle and sell to anybody. So if you wouldn't drink it, don't cook with it. So, but the glaze is a little thinner when it goes on, but as you can see, it's on there. It's stuck to everything, and it's kind of beautiful and sticky and tacky.
What about the alcohol content in your glaze? Is it too much to serve for the family?
No,
or?
you can serve it for the family, because by the time this gets in there and cooks, most of the alcohol will cook right out of it.
Okay.
So, and you don't need a whole lot. I do this by the gallon, and I'll use probably a cup.
Okay.
So the alcohol content is very, very minimal. And then when you add the heat to it, it starts to cook away very rapidly.
And it's more for the flavor that you're
Exactly.
getting. Okay.
But you can just slice pieces off.
Yeah, you were talking about how cutting it, spatchcocking it like this, like, you know, it basically butterflies your meat out to where you can really serve it.
Right to the family, depending upon what part of the chicken they like the best.
I'm glad you gave me some of the skin there with it. So this is part of the thigh that you're cutting.
That's part of the thigh this time.
So cut that one in half for me. Thank you.
There you go.
I'm excited to try this. It's super moist. You can tell, like, it's just...
It's beautiful when it glistens like that, isn't it?
Melt in your mouth. Wow.
And you can do this at home really easy. I mean, you can look up a recipe. I like to start with being able to control all of my ingredients all the way through to the completion of stuff like this. So I researched, I found a ketchup that I like, and then I took the ketchup and I found barbecue recipes that I liked, and I took that homemade ketchup and I developed it further into a barbecue sauce so that I control every stage of the game all the way through.
That's what I was going to ask. When you add everything to your sauce, are you starting with a barbecue sauce or are you starting with a ketchup?
You can start with your favorite barbecue sauce and add stuff to it and enhance it. You can start with a ketchup and then make your own barbecue sauce from there. Me, I like to control it from the very beginning.
I could sit here and eat this entire bar. It is so good.
I know, isn't it great? This is why I left it running and cooking in here in between the segments, so that you'd have to smell it.
Leading up to today, the dish that I liked the most that you made was the tuna tartare.
Oh, yes.
Now, I need to have that side by side with this, but wow.
Isn't that great?
With that barbecue glaze, wow.
It's wonderful. The flavors combine really well. And when you find things that you like if if you have your favorite barbecue sauce at home, start changing it a little bit. Start doctoring a little bit. Add a little bit of fruit to it. Add a little bit of whatever you like to it, so that you can build the flavors that you want in your meals.
Yeah, let's show off how pretty this is straight out of the air fryer. How moist this is. This is the breast meat here. I mean, by cooking it this way, I mean, he actually put in like a pat of butter in between the skin, and obviously you don't see it anymore, but it's infused into your chicken at this point.
Yep.
And
it cooks in, and it's super moist, and all the flavors stay right there.
You can just see that. That is just gorgeous, that meat.
Oh, yes.
It's so moist.
And if you don't put on a glaze like this, then the skin stays crispy, because a lot of people like, well, I like crispy chicken. But it will give you that beautiful crispy skin. That's the secret to Peking duck. What makes Peking duck the skin on it so crispy and wonderful is separating that skin from the meat itself and adding fat in between.
Before we go to break, can you give us a teaser on possibly what we might be having in store for us next week?
Next week, we're going to do a twist on classic sausage and peppers. But we're going to use pineapple brats.
All right. That sounds exciting. Well, it's grilling season, so you might as well
It is.
grill up those brats. All right, and pineapple brats they have at Simon Market too.
That's right. He has a beautiful set of pineapple brats, and he just made some yesterday. So I know they're going to be really, really, really good.
All right. I'm excited to find out more about that. And in the meantime, you can find these as 3 segments. Make sure you check them all out. They'll all be in one story on our website under the KOAMmorningnews.com website. Just click on the morning show page under Chef Anthony, and you can find them all. We'll be right back.
In Health Watch this morning, public health officials can detect COVID outbreaks sooner by testing sewage. Scientists with Scripps Research and the University of San Diego found that by testing just 2 teaspoons of raw sewage, they can accurately identify new COVID variants up to 2 weeks before traditional testing. Many communities are already testing wastewater to catch surges of COVID early. Exercise can have a tremendous benefit for people with chronic kidney disease. A study published in the American Journal of Kidney Diseases found high levels of physical activity lowered the chance of heart attack, stroke, and death for people suffering from kidney disease. Doctors recommend 150 minutes a week of exercise. Take a look at this little guy. This is just southeast of Neosho. It's one of the thunderstorms that's popped up and been around the area. And if we zoom out, we still have some showers and scattered thunderstorms out there. Those are all going to go ahead and clear on out of here. We'll have more on this excessive heat warning and your forecast when we come back.
News starts now.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. It's currently 7:31. Let's take a look at today's top stories. An Oronoco, Missouri man pleads guilty for kidnapping a Webb City, Missouri woman. Authorities say Jeffrey Marsh kidnapped the woman and threatened to kill her and her family unless she recanted her testimony in a state criminal case. The woman had previously told police that Marsh had stolen her gun, and Marsh pled guilty to conspiracy to commit kidnapping, being a felon in possession of a firearm, and stalking. In July of last year, co-defendant Zachary Archer pled guilty for his role in the kidnapping conspiracy and firearm possession. Liberty Electric asked customers to reduce electricity use again today. The electric company issued a peak advisory for all customers yesterday due to extreme heat resulting in high energy demand. They're asking to reduce electricity use throughout the day, particularly between noon and 8 p.m. They say this helps Liberty avoid outages and reduce cost for customers. To see suggestions on how to reduce energy consumption, just go to our website at KOAMnewsnow.com. Joplin police say they're seeing more reports of counterfeit money. As more fake bills circulate in the community, local businesses are becoming more vigilant. And it's not just local businesses that need to be aware. Counterfeit money has also been reported at yard sales.
Well, what we were told at the bank is actually the $100 bills, the old ones, were actually passing the counterfeit test. And they were saying that the pens were not working, that whatever paper they were using, it was passing the test.
It's important to be vigilant when handling cash, especially large bills. If you come across counterfeit money, report it to the police department immediately. Several vigils took place around Highland Park, Illinois on Thursday. It's been 4 days since a gunman opened fire on the 4th of July parade. 7 people were killed, dozens were injured, and now stores across town are starting to reopen. But even these owners say it will take a while to get back to normal. Michelle Gallardo reports.
A cup of coffee, a chai latte. It all seems so routine as orders are taken today inside Highland Park's Perfect Blend. But it was hardly routine on Monday as terrified parade goers took shelter inside one of the few businesses to open on Central Avenue on the holiday.
With the stroller, babies, parents, and a dog, pets, they just came in.
Choi reopened Tuesday, scared but convinced it was the right thing to do.
My community needs a to go back to normal life as quickly as they can be.
But what is normal? Orthodontist Josh Gilbert asks himself that question as he navigates having to treat young patients who, like him, were at the parade with their families on July the 4th, and they're still trying to come to terms with what happened.
With kids, you just don't know how everyone processes something differently. So we don't want to, if the parents are having a tough time with their children, we don't want to be something that triggers somebody unintentionally.
And then there's jewelry store owner Anat Borchov, an Israeli emigre. Borchov has made Highland Park her home for the past 37 years. She would have preferred to remain closed for a couple of weeks, but obligations to customers, many waiting on engagement rings and other special orders, convinced her to reopen.
It's horrifying to me every day that I have to get to my store and pass by. It feels awkward because they still want to come and get their stuff, but then they're also in pain and they're, should I not?
A large section of Central Avenue where the shooting took place is still closed. Holy mother of all auctions, Batman. Diehard fans of the Cape Crusader have the chance to purchase the bat suit worn by George Clooney in the 1997's Batman and Robin. The suit has been placed on a life-size mannequin replica of Clooney, that's awesome, which comes with the purchase. Heritage Auctions will be selling this as part of a sale of entertainment gems and oddities taking place in Hollywood later this month.
I don't need the mannequin. I just need the suit.
Who'd you like better, George Clooney or Val Kilmer as Batman? Only pick between those two.
What are you going to think when I tell you I haven't seen either of them?
Ooh.
I've seen the Christian Bale Batman movies.
You need to go back to some older ones.
I definitely do. I've heard that Michael Keaton's Batman was one of the best.
I didn't tell you to pick between him.
I know, but unfortunately, he's the only one. I've heard George Clooney's Batman wasn't all that phenomenal, so...
Which I think will be reflected in the price that this comes for.
That's
if
a
it was
possibility.
Compared to something else. Yeah.
That is a distinct possibility. People are like, I didn't really like that one all that much. I'll give you $50 for it. Hey, we could go for some 50-degree temperatures. Unfortunately, we are not going to get those. We've had some scattered showers and thunderstorms working through the area. You got some in northeast Oklahoma. This little batch in southeast Kansas is all but dead. About the only thing that whoa, look at that. Well, it's close enough. The only one we've got is down southeast in Neosho, which actually still has a decent amount of lightning with it, but these are going to be kicking out of here and give way to a excessive heat warning. Runs through most of the night. You can see the skies are clearing, and as they do so, those temperatures are going to go up. 83 in Joplin feels like 85. Most of us are sitting in the upper 70s and lower 80s, and you take in those dew points, which are already starting to climb at this hour of the day. We're getting into that sticky to muggy to even soupy range, and that's giving us those heat index values in the mid to upper 80s in some cases. Taking a look at the 7-day forecast, we have one more alert day for today because of the excessive heat warning. Cold front comes through, cools us off to 92 on Saturday, 66 Saturday night, and then the heat and humidity will build again and bring us additional storm chances. We'll have more on the forecast and other things on the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14 when we come back.
All right, we've got our very own Shannon Becker joining us today with our big 3 stories of the week, and there are some pretty exciting ones.
That's right, live and local. What's happening out there? In the streets, right?
Yeah, or in the air.
Yeah, that's right. Let's take a look at them. The big 3 stories this week, what everybody's talking about and surfing on the web, the counterfeit cash. You guys have been talking about it, not only here in Joplin, but in Taney County and northern Arkansas as well. What's up with this money? Well, if you look really close, it says motion picture copy money. This was actually passed at the Cafe Del Rio. This $100 bill, somebody left it on a table. They said, hey, I left you $100, and then they bummed out the door. So they got stiff with this actual $100 bill.
Man. Now, do all of them have that motion picture?
No, not all of them necessarily. Some of them are going to have different markings. Some of them will say copy. Some of them will just different things necessarily. Like this one. This was passed in Taney County. It says copy on it. And prostu procol. I don't know what that means necessarily.
Oh, I see the copy on that.
Different
Just
things.
Look close. Something's different.
And it's also going to feel different, they say as well. And the ink will look different. Our number 2 story on the web. web what everybody's talking about. Luke Bryan landed his helicopter in St. Paul, Kansas. Really? Yeah, it happened. His helicopter was having some trouble, and they were coming back from Las Vegas, where he's got a residency right now. The country superstar and American Idol judge landed here in St. Paul, Kansas at the Treber Farm. You can see his helicopter there in this candid photo. Somebody running there across the screen. Could have been Luke Bryan, right?
Hey!
Spent about an hour there as his crew worked on the helicopter. Then it limped all the way down to Joplin and landed. Had a little bit of time there, and he said he Googled what's the best restaurant in Joplin. Well, he appeared at the gastropub Blackstone there at St. Louis and Broadway, appearing there with some of the crew. What did he order? Well, he had a Guinness, jalapeno margarita or something like that, and then poutine. Ugh.
Maybe he was Googling the best place to get poutine.
Maybe. I don't know. You can catch him this fall on the, then he flew out the next couple of days. He flew out that night, but the next couple of days his helicopter did fly out.
I love a good poutine, but I wouldn't think of the 4 states as like a signature item to eat there.
Yeah, but it's kind of a funky place to eat if you necessarily want.
Very true.
Gastropub. Oh, it sounds like a weird title. Number 1 story of the week. Tragedy. The Shockwave jet truck exploded, killed the driver Chris Darnell this last weekend in Michigan. Shockwave jet truck was created here in southeast Kansas by the Shockley family. About 10 years ago, the Darnell family purchased that. The Darnell family, roots based in Pitcher and Carden. Now the Darnell Racing Enterprise, they are in Republic, Missouri. The funeral will be this week. There's a GoFundMe we'll put on our website this morning on KOAM News Now, how you can help out the Darnell family. It's a tragedy there. He leaves behind his wife and daughters. More details, as I said, on the web. And now to a little bit more positive. How about this? Our bonus story of the week. Everybody loves pizza. Everybody loves chicken. I mean, how can you not, right? The Pizza Ranch is opening their 222nd location in Joplin. It's just east of 20th and Range Line. The buffet your way. They've got the Fun Zone arcade. They have everything that you want there. And it opens on Monday. The first 100 people get pizza for a year. There are certain caveats to that giveaway, so you got to read the fine print, but you can line up. They're anticipating maybe people even might line up overnight.
Oh, I bet there'll be some campers to get
so
that
you're welcome to do that if you want to. We'll be there live, so that'll be a lot of fun.
That'll be a lot of fun.
Pizza Ranch, it's just to the north.
When do they open on Monday?
I think it's 10:30.
10:30.
But it's just to the north of Home Depot, like to the side of Home Depot across the street.
Okay.
So we'll be there.
A lot of fun.
That's your bonus, the big 3. Joplin News First.
Well, thank you for joining us and doing this with us this Friday morning. And be sure to tune in every Friday morning on the KOAM Morning News and the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14 for these big 3 segments.
Thank you.
With Shannon Becker. We'll be right back.
In Consumer Watch this morning, if you're feeling the pinch of inflation, you might find your dollar goes a bit further on that summer holiday in Europe. The dollar has risen to a value that's almost equal to the euro for the first time in about 20 years. It may not be good news for American companies whose goods become more expensive to foreign buyers, but a stronger greenback also provides some relief in the U.S. by making many imported goods less expensive. And the Biden administration says it's moving ahead with plans to provide almost $1 billion to 85 American airports, including Denver International, Boston's Logan, and Florida's Orlando International. The funds approved in last year's infrastructure bill will help expand and upgrade terminals and other facilities. We'll be right back after this, but first let's take a look at those market prices before the opening bell.
It's time to honor today's 4-state hero, Chief Warrant Officer William Bader, Carthage, Missouri native, served from 1941 to 1945 in Okinawa, Korea, the Philippines, Incheon as part of the 529th Signal Assault Company, 203rd Engineer Battalion, 701st Military Police Battalion. To Chief Warrant Officer 3, William Bader, we thank you, today's 4-state hero. A Massachusetts woman screaming her head off. Well, it has people in stitches. Really? Well, it's all because of a chipmunk. Jeannie Moose explains.
A chipmunk, a dog, and a screamer combined to make a video go viral.
I know I'm loud. I know I'm obnoxious, but I'm really embarrassed because my neighbors almost called the cops. They thought there was a murder being committed.
But it was a rescue being committed when a chipmunk got trapped between the screen and the glass at Ashley Karen's Massachusetts home.
Listen, let's make a deal, baby. I'm going to safely get you out. I'm going to open this, and you just scurry right out there back to your happy, whimsical life.
Negotiating with a chipmunk earned Ashley the whimsical nickname Chipmunk Whisperer. She warned her kids in the other room.
Okay, just stay in there. Okay, if I scream, everything is fine. Oh, he's just coming down with it. Oh, maybe that's better. Oh, no. Okay. You were right the first time. No, that way. No, boss! No, boss!
Ashley was screaming bloody murder, but
the chipmunk lived.
It turns out Ashley's Alaskan Malamute named Boss carried the chipmunk to the balcony as Ashley kept yelling, "Drop it!"
I think he put two and two together with my screams and was like, maybe I should just let this little guy go.
Aside from the screaming, everyone's favorite part was this line.
Okay, if I scream, everything is fine. Somebody said, I want that as a shirt.
Are you going to do it?
I might.
But in the end, she did scream, and it was okay. Though maybe not music to the ears of this chipmunk. No! Jeannie Moose, CNN, New York.
That's what I tell my morning show crew, Chris. If I scream, everything is fine.
That sounds about right.
Everything is fine if I scream.
That poor chipmunk too. And then that lady, man, she just freaked out. Oh, that was good. That's quality television right there. Let's just run that, continuously through the morning. I'm sure people will enjoy it. They'll enjoy it a lot more than the forecast I've got to give, unfortunately. So let me step out of the way. We had some showers and thunderstorms moving out. There's some here in northeast Oklahoma. And then we've got this guy that's now moving east of Neosho. And check it out. There's actually still a fair amount of lightning with this sucker. He's not strong, he's not severe, he's just a good old morning thunderstorm. Once this all clears out, excessive heat warning kicks into effect for a number of us, either through 8 or 9 o'clock tonight. And that's because temperatures are going to warm up. See the skies already clearing over 7th and Rangeline. Temperatures will continue to warm. 83 is where we are, 85 is what it feels like. And that's where we are across the board. Most of us in the lower to mid 80s as we start this day. Dew points are also getting into that sticky to muggy range, some creeping up on soupy, and we're going to start to see these heat indices build. The excessive heat warning is because those heat indexes are going to build to about 105 degrees this afternoon. Here's what we're looking at as we go through the day. Hitting a high in the upper 90s, sunny skies once these guys get out of here. Cold front comes through, we drop off slowly, and we start tomorrow at 74 degrees. We'll have a look at the long-range forecast and other things when the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14 returns.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. Here's what's happening today. A federal judge has sentenced former Minneapolis police officer Derek Chovan to more than 20 years in prison for violating George Floyd's civil rights. Last year, Chovan was sentenced to 22 and a half years in state prison after he was convicted of second-degree murder and manslaughter charges. The 46-year-old will serve the sentences concurrently at a federal prison. Vladimir Putin is warning Ukraine of dire consequences if it refuses to accept its ceasefire terms. The invasion began on February 24th, but the Russian president said his country has yet to begin fighting in earnest. Putin accused the West of pressuring Kyiv to resist in the face of an overwhelming military force. And British Prime Minister Boris Johnson will remain in office until his party chooses a successor, a process that could take several weeks. Johnson resigned yesterday amid a growing scandal over an aide who had been accused of sexual misconduct.
We are heading for a high in the upper 90s. Excessive heat warning does continue through 9 o'clock for most of us as heat index values push 105 today. Cold front makes its way in. We're going to start tomorrow off nice and pleasant at 74. And on that 7-day forecast, you can see where Saturday doesn't look as bad, but as we get through the weekend, heat, humidity return. And while that isn't so pleasant, we do have increasing chances of some showers and thunderstorms next week.
All right, well, a new record for the world's thinnest watch. Take a look at the RMUP01 Ferrari, created by luxury Swiss watchmaker Richard Mille. Timepiece clocking in at just 1.75 millimeters thick. Well, it makes it the thinnest in the world. Took the company more than 6,000 hours to develop the piece, which is mostly made of titanium. Richard Mille is listing the watch at a whopping $1.9 million, and only 150 will be made. You can see that I have one on my wrist, but it's so thin. Actually, you can't see it.
It is perfectly thin. I can hear our control room moaning out right now. You know, that was 250 days, by the way. So they only made 150, and it took them 250 days to develop the thing.
Wow.
Productivity. Well, hey, thank you so much for letting us put the good in your morning. We're going to be back with more news and weather at noon.
Have a great morning and an even better weekend.